Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build this web app. This is a web app that I created using Gemini and ChatGPT, and the purpose of it is to analyze my Etsy sales. If you're an Etsy seller, you know that there is a report that you can download from Etsy that would give you your monthly sales and sales for the entire year. Well, that file usually comes as a CSV. You can upload that file into Google Sheets or Excel and try to make some sense out of it, or create a template to analyze it. An alternative to that would be using something like this, which is a web app. It is specifically designed to analyze Etsy sales. So I'm going to show you a demo of how it works, and then I'll show you how I created this. The first thing I'm going to do is to show you how to get that CSV file. Log into your Etsy shop and go into your settings area. Click on it, go to the third option, and then select the option that says download data. Here is where you can generate and download reports. Go here, select order items. That's the first one. Right here, you can select a month and a year, but what I want to do is see my sales for an entire year. So leave the month unselected, just like it says right here, and download my information from 2022, and then click on download CSV. Now, when you click on this button, you're not going to get the file immediately. If you look up here, you see this message that says we're generating your download, and you'll get an email when the link is ready. I'm going to go to my email and see if that link is available. Okay, so here's what the email looks like. I'm going to click on download now. Now that we have our CSV file, we can upload it into our dashboard. This template already has some data here, so I'm going to clear it and then click on choose file. Double click to select the CSV file. And in less than a second, you have your entire shop analyzed. So you can see that in 2022, I made 966 orders. Here's the amount I generated for that entire year. This is the revenue minus shipping and any discounts that I offer during the year. For digital products, there is no shipping. So the difference between these two is the number of discounts that I offered during the year. Here is how much I made per month. So this divided by 12. And here is the net amount I made per month, which is this divided by 12. So looking at the trend here, you can see that January was the best month because people are usually buying lots of planning and calendar templates at that time. And you can see how it slowly decreased for the rest of the year. This shows you your revenue by weekday. So what it does, it looks at the weekday that you made the most sales. Sunday is the day that I sold the most amount. And then these three are a breakdown by location. So the first one is a breakdown by states or region. So you select your country here and it shows you where most of your sales is coming from. So selecting the United States, you can see that most of my sales come from Texas and California. I'm going to select another country. Let's go to Spain, and you can see most of my sales come from this region right here. We have two donut charts representing the distribution by country. One of them is by quantity and the other is by amount. Most of my sales come from the United States. The next is Canada and Australia by quantity. And then looking at it by amount, it's about the same. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom. This last table allows me to view my sales based on the top 10 products and the bottom 10 products. You can sort any of the columns in this table. This allows me to see my top product based on the amounts that I sold and by the quantity. So by far, Undated Daily Journal was the one that brought in the most income for the entire year. And then my bottom 10 products sorted by amount and by quantity. All right, so that is exactly how it works. I'm going to show you how I created this. It did take several hours, but what I did afterwards was create a prompt that would hopefully make the process for you a lot easier. I should say that this is the one I created using ChatGPT. I did create another version using the same prompt, but using Gemini instead. So we'll go over to that, take a look, and then we'll jump into ChatGPT and recreate this. So this is the one that I created using Gemini. I'm going to follow the same process. Choose file. Here's the same file right here. Select that. And here is the analysis. And you can see that the structure of this analyzer is exactly the same. Summary area over here, we have our revenue by month, revenue by weekday. And then with this one for the table, I actually changed the prompts to show the top 20 and the bottom 20, just to show you that you do have flexibility when you're making this. And then I also have the breakdown by country, just like I had before. And then here's broken down by states. And just like the one that I created in ChatGPT, you can select your country. I'm going to select Spain, and you can see the breakdown here by regions in Spain. All right, so it works exactly the same way with just some slight differences. When I created this, it took me several hours because I had to refine the design and reprompt it several times to get exactly what I wanted. The prompt that I'm going to use today is a prompt that I generated after I created this product. So I told ChatGPT, write me a prompt that is based on the final results. And what that means is that if you use this prompt, you're going to be able to recreate this in a lot less time. All right, so here's what the prompt looks like. This file will be available in my Patreon, available for everyone. So you don't have to be a paid member. All you have to do is sign up to be my Patreon, and then you can go ahead and get access to this file. So you can see the prompt is about 2 pages long. We're going to copy the entire prompt. All right, I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to go over to ChatGPT and I'll show you how it works. All right, so we are in my ChatGPT account. I should say I do have the paid version, but this should be able to work even with the free version. Okay, so I've pasted the prompt. We're just going to click enter and then see what happens. All right, so as you can see, it thought for about 20 seconds and then now it's writing the code. Okay, and what's nice about ChatGPT is that you can actually preview the code. So when it's done writing everything, this preview button will be available. You can click on it and you can see what it looks like. And then you can chat with ChatGPT using natural language to adjust the code based on what the preview looks like. So this is what I did when I was creating this. I had the preview open and then I asked it to make several changes based on the things that I wanted to change. Because the first time I did this, it did not look like the final product. It looked messier. There were so many things that I did not like because I used a very basic prompt to begin with. But now that I'm using a more refined prompt, because I created this prompt after I was able to create the template that I needed, it should be able to give me something that is closer to the finished product. Now, I should warn you that it doesn't always work. So the fact that I have a refined prompt that is supposed to be better doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. So just keep that in mind. You might still need to prompt it to make certain changes if it doesn't quite look like what I have. And the other thing I want to mention is that this is an HTML file, meaning that once you download it, you should be able to run it on your browser. It's able to work even if you don't have internet on your computer. And then one final thing is that this is designed to work on your computer. So if you try to open this on your phone or on your iPad, it may not work as well. But if you use Microsoft Edge, which is a browser that you can download an app for on your phone or your tablet, it does open HTML files and you should be able to view the file. But this specific prompt has not been optimized for mobile view. So this is going to take a long time. So you can go ahead and look through as it's loading. It's normal because it's a very long code that is required to make this web app. All right, so I'm going to speed up this process and then I'll come back. So you can see now that this preview button is ready. And before we click on preview, let's take a look at this message. So it says shipped your single file React app is on the canvas. You can open it and preview it. And then it has some more information here that is a summary of what we have done. So let's go ahead and preview it. And let's cross our fingers and hope that it looks like what I already created. So click on preview. All right, so we do have that first screen, which is our choose our file. So that's a good sign, right? So I'm going to click on choose a file and let's select the exact same CSV file and let's see what happens. Wow. Okay, so this is not bad at all. So you can see that it's not perfect, but it looks pretty close to what we want. So right here we have our summary header area and information looks the same as what we have. So we know at least it's calculating things correctly. You can see that the icons are different. So every time you run this prompt, it's going to be different because each iteration is not going to be exactly the same. And then we have our 2 charts here, revenue by month and revenue by weekday. So you can already see some problems here. So what we can do is reprompt it to fix this. We'll come back to that. All right, and then this prompt had the top 20 and bottom 20 instead of top 10 and bottom 10, which is why we have this, and it should be sortable as well. And by the way, if you see a feature that's missing, so let's say it forgot to add the sortable option, you can go ahead and just request that. And here we have our donut chart. So the charts are fine, but it doesn't look great. So what we're going to do now is prompt it to make the changes we want. The other thing too is that it defaults to this dark theme. If you don't like the dark mode, go ahead and prompt it to make that change. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is fix these 2 column charts. You can see how it's positioned outside of this area. So what I'm going to do is ask it to extend this or decrease this. My request is extend the section height and ensure that there's enough padding. Padding is the space right here, so above and in the side. So we need more padding in this area. So I'm going to hit send and then we'll wait and see what happens. All right, so this was pretty quick. It says the problem has been fixed. I do have an error here, so I'm going to ignore that for now. I do want to see if the problem with my chart has been fixed. So I'll go ahead and select the file. All right, so it hasn't been fixed. So I'm going to try one more time. What's nice about this is I'm using natural language. I don't know the technical words. I'm just trying to communicate with ChatGPT the best way that I can. So let's try one more time. And if you go here, you can see that it says that It did not fix the problem, and it looks like it's trying one more time. So let's see what happens. Okay, so here's what we have so far. We have several failed messaging. It tries several times to fix the problem, and sometimes it doesn't work. So then it tells me to fix it myself. So it gives me instructions and it tells me to replace the code. I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is tell ChatGPT to fix it. So I'm going to say, I don't know how to code. Go ahead and fix the problem. Click enter. Let's see what happens. So this is something that I experienced, which is why it took me a long time to get to the final product. So even though you're using a refined prompt, you still might have to put in some time to make sure it works the exact way you want. All right, so it's asking me to refresh the canvas. What I'm going to do is address this error here by clicking on it and fix bug. All right, so I've been waiting about 5 minutes and it seems to be stuck in this. So I'll give it some time. I'll come back to this. In the meantime, I'm going to try the same prompt in Canva. So if you're not aware of this, there is a coding area that has been built into the Canva program. So I'm going to take that prompt and see if it works in Canva. Go to Canva AI and then click on code for me right here. And when you click that, you see all of the recent chats you've had with code. Here are some examples that you can use if you want to test out the coding feature. So I'll paste the code here and see what happens. All right, so while we're waiting for this to load, I do want to mention that I can't test it on Gemini for you today because I was working on another project and I have used up all of my limits for Gemini. So unfortunately, I cannot test it there for this video. But if you're using Gemini, go ahead and try it and see if it works. As a matter of fact, try to use it in any large language model that you have access to. The reason why I like to use ChatGPT, Canva, Gemini, and even sometimes Deepseek is that you do have this canvas which you can view what your final product is going to look like and make the changes. You could also use Claude, but I don't pay for Claude. The free version would work, but the number of prompts you have per day is very limited. I do pay for ChatGPT, Gemini, and of course, I have a paid account for Canva, so I do have extra prompts that I can use. All right, so we're actually done here. So let's do the same thing. Choose a file, click on the same file, and at first glance, not bad. You can see that the prompt is giving us very similar results because the structure of the dashboard has been built into the prompt. So we have our summary area, we have our charts. Okay, see the charts have no problem with the padding. The table looks fine. We can scroll through, all right, and we can sort by every column. I don't like how it's displayed. So what I'm going to do is type in some prompts to see if we can fix this. If you try this, let me know in the comment section if it worked for you. Also, it's a good time to say, if you like this video, if you're getting value from it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you know someone that this will be helpful to, go ahead and share this video with them. All right, so here is the prompt. The donut charts are too small and they're left justified because they're all squeezed into the left-hand side of the screen. What I want is for it to be center and I want this on the right-hand side. All right, so let's see what it does with that. While this is loading, I'm just going to say a few things. That if you have the paid version of Canva, you are allowed 60 prompts, so use it wisely. So it's better, but I don't like what it's done with the header, so I'm going to prompt it to relocate the header back to the top. And this is all aesthetic. You don't have to keep going and tweaking it. I just like to have my web app look decent, but this is fine. You can stop here. You have all the information you need. Okay, so let's try it one more time and then we'll go back and see how ChatGPT is doing. So now it shrunk the area and you can go back and forth and just have it fixed. I know if I continue prompting it, it will fix it. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. And so back here, I've been gone for at least 10 minutes, maybe even more. And it looks like maybe it fixed the problem. So let's go ahead and click on choose file and let's see what it's done. Okay, it actually fixed it. We have this nice padding in both charts. And this chart is not fixed, so you can go ahead and prompt it the exact same way we did for these charts. All right, so if you are going to make this, just keep in mind that it's not going to be perfect the first time, but go ahead and reprompt it and make the changes. I do want to try this in Deepseek. The problem with Deepseek is that a lot of users are using it at the same time because it is free. So it does freeze a lot, but I'm curious to see what it looks like. All right, so here's my Deepseek account. Let's go ahead and paste it and see what happens. While this is working, I'm also going to say a few things about Deepseek that I have noticed. So number one, I like it because it does have the canvas option, meaning that you'll be able to see a preview of the product. The other thing I want to mention about Deepseek is that it does take a long time. So don't worry about it. Go ahead and move on to something else and then come back when it's done. Make sure you use Deepseek because this will produce a better result. So while this is loading, I'm going to go over to another LLM. This is another LLM. It's called Chat. I believe it is out of France and they do have a free and a paid version. I don't have the paid version, so I'm going to paste the code here and see what happens. I'm going to click on think just so I get better results. Click on enter and see what happens. While this is working, I'm going to go back to Deep Chat and check it out. It's still running. Like I said before, it does take some time, but be patient. I switched back over to Late Chat. Late Chat does have a preview option, but for some reason, it sometimes shows up, sometimes it doesn't. So if it doesn't work for you, I'm not sure how to fix it, but it worked today. So here is the preview. You just have to click on this eye icon and it would open up. All right, so now let's click on choose file and see what happens. Okay, so not really great at all. This is not loading properly. Our charts are off and the donut charts are not great. So I haven't really had great results with it anyway. I'm not surprised that this doesn't look good. And so I try not to use it for web apps, to be honest. I just wanted to show you a different large language model with the exact same prompt. Okay, back here, it's probably been about 7 or 8 minutes and it's still going. All right, it looks like it is done here, and you know it's finished because now these buttons are available. We're gonna click on run to see the preview of what it looks like. Fingers crossed. Let's take a look. Choose file. Okay, not bad. Some things are not correct, some error messages here, so it's not reading the CSV file correctly, but that can be fixed. All you need to do is reprompt it and let it know where everything is so it can redo the calculation. And we have the column chart here for revenue by month. The table looks fine. We have top 20, bottom 20. The table disappeared. I'm going to refresh it to see if it comes back. All right, so I did a refresh and I'm going to choose the file one more time. All right, so I'm not going to click on the table. There might be something wrong with these buttons. Scrolling all the way back, we do have the revenue by weekday chart and donut charts that look a little bit oversized. To get a better view of what this looks like, I'm going to download it and show you what it looks like on my browser. And I did mention this before, but just so you're aware, it's a web app that runs on your browser, meaning that you download the file, it is saved as an HTML file, and you open it up in your browser with or without internet. So I'm going to hit download, save it here, open the file back up on my browser. As you can see, it opens up in my browser. Click choose file, select the CSV file. Okay, so not bad. These charts are where they're supposed to be. We still, of course, have the issue with the calculations, but that can be fixed. You just need to reprompt it. And then this is really messy, but I believe you can fix it by just asking the right questions. Before I wrap things up, I want to show you how to download from ChatGPT and view it on your browser. So to download, click on these 3 dots next to stop and download. Click to save it. I'm going to double click it so it opens it in my browser. I'm using Chrome and I've also tested it in Safari and it works fine. It's stored on your computer. So if you want to use it on a second device, the information is not going to carry over from your first device to your second device. Click on choose file. All right, I'm not expecting it to be different. I just want to see how it displays on the screen and it looks fine. There is some dead space here. But again, this is something that if you wanted, you can prompt it to make it more responsive to a wider screen. Or if you want to add more charts and graphs and summary data, you can use the extra space to do that. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. What I want to know from you is if you use the prompts, what was your experience like? What did your dashboard look like? And how many times did you have to reprompt it to get exactly what you wanted? Let me know in the comment section. And also let me know what you want to see next. The next video I have planned for a web app is going to be for PayHip because I have data from PayHip. And just like the Etsy data, it's a CSV file that I have to analyze to make sense out of. And I did do an overview video of all of the web apps that I created. I'll leave that in the description box. You should go ahead and check it out. Let me know what web app you want me to create next. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.